I have been building my fantasy world for years. Years. And let me tell you, when I started to think about the big picture, and I mean big picture, things changed for my world. Let me go back to the beginning. Now, I use a program called Milanote, and no, this is not sponsored by them. I just love the program. But Milanote, if you want me to plug you, please sponsor me. Now, I filled the program with folders and notes. Filled. And sorry, you can't see any of this. This is super top secret. All of it was there to keep the little details of my world in one place so that I could go through each city and each neighborhood and have a place where I could click through and find all the detail in a neat, organized way. But what I wasn't thinking about was my world's place in time and space. Let me explain. See, I knew for the longest time that I wanted to set my world on a moon, and I had come up with all of my reasoning for why there's life and why there's trees, but I hadn't thought about the big picture, the moon itself. Now, where this clicked for me was one night when I was binging Avatar, the blue people, and I started analyzing the world that James Cameron had built and the sheer detail that they had put into this world. And I was looking at their use of words, how they called night eclipse instead of nighttime. And so I started Googling, what is day and night like on Pandora? What causes eclipse? And that led me to looking at other moons in our solar system. And then I started wondering what day and night would be like on our moon. Yes, I know, I went down a rabbit hole. But where it ended was with a realization. In order for my world to be placed on a moon, the day and night cycles would have to be vastly different than our own. A tidally locked moon moves differently through space from our perspective than a planet. It would rotate slowly, locked in place by the gravity of the larger planet. So just think about our own moon, right? We see the same side of the moon, always, period. If you had a base on the light side of the moon, you would always face the Earth. Sure, you're going around the sun and the sky will move, but always behind the planet. And then I started doing math by comparing Maladea, my world, to the moons in our solar system and basing it off the size of the planet I wanted in the sky. How would it change if it was the size of Jupiter? How would it change if it was the size of Saturn? Which would in turn inform how close Maladea was to the planet and more. Ultimately, and this is the point of this whole video, I found out that days on Maladea were 384 hours long. Yes, one day, 384 hours. That means that a day on Maladea would last 8 days for us. And likewise, a night would last 8 nights as well. And at first it was so daunting to even think about that. And I thought about scrapping the whole idea. But the more I thought about it, the more I was fascinated by the idea. How would living through 8 days of daytime and 8 days of nighttime, how would that affect humans? How would this affect climate and plant life and animal life? How would things evolve? But it also made sense to me too because elves lived for so long. It just made sense that if their days were just longer and stretched out, that they had evolved to accommodate that. Now, obviously, am I a scientist? Well, you don't know. I could be. But not everything is perfect. Someone out there is going to write an angry comment about plate tectonics or gravity, and to that I say, magic. All of this is to say that you should be thinking about the big details. Start big and then go deep and go even deeper. And if you really want to try this out for yourself, scan this little QR code right here. I made a whole book. Get my World Weavers workbook. It will ask you all of those exact questions that I'm talking about and more. And honestly, I think that sometimes we forget to think about certain things. And someone out there is going to watch this and a light bulb is going to click for them. Now, I had a lot of fun thinking about the implications of this discovery and thinking of all the different ways it would affect the world, the life on it, and the habits of the people living there. So maybe you will too. Or just say f it and do your own thing. World building, especially in fantasy worlds, has so many ways of explaining things. For me, I just like adding science. It just makes it feel that much more real and makes it that much more possible to actually touch, if that makes any sense to anybody out there. Which I think is why I fell in love with the Avatar series. Now, I'm not saying that they're the greatest films ever, but the amount of attention to detail that they have put into the world building really sparked something in me, and it made me go down this rabbit hole that just changed my entire story and has made me fall in love with the world that I'm building all that much more. And if you want to fall in love with your world building even more, let me take a moment to tell you about today's sponsor, Describe. DMs out there, have you ever been running a session and you can literally feel your players getting bored? I know I have. If you have ever felt like your game sessions could use just a little bit more life like me, then give me just a few seconds. Let me show you today's sponsor, Describe. So what is Describe? Well, honestly, I thought a lot about how to describe Describe, pun intended, And it's the difference between reading about a stormy sea and actually feeling it, right? The chill as the thunder rolls and the waves crash, all perfectly timed with your story, all at your fingertips. And it's because Describe isn't just bringing sound, it's literally giving life to your adventures, from a massive array of maps to epic battle sounds and ambience and sound effects and immersive text that's already written for you, all the way to truly beautiful music. Honestly, the music alone should win some awards, and it all just makes your sessions so unforgettable. And the best part is that it's created by players for players, so all it takes is one subscription for the whole table. I promise you, if you are one of those DMs that wants to make that leap to make your table just that much better for your players, check out Describe and bring your next session to life. It's the tool I always wanted whenever I ran a game. I'm super excited that I found it. So click the link in the description. Just give it a look. You're already on the internet. Just click the thing, take a peek, and if you want to take the dive, create your account and use my code FantasyForge. So what's a crazy revelation that you have made in your own world building? Leave it in the comments down below. I really want to hear it. And now it's time for some quick shoutouts. Sergeant War Potato says Tobias chilling with the party before an encounter. What you mean is the party is chilling with Tobias. It's their privilege. Lorcan says Kitty. Phony Freak says Displacer Kitten acquired. Well, Phony Freak, mission accomplished. And a Nerd with a Stutter, awesome name, says Tobias just sitting there looking great as always. I know, it's like they don't even have to try. Also, I'm wanting to run a game that doesn't have a pantheon deities or gods, but one of my friends are wanting to play as a cleric, and I'm wondering what I would do to make that work. Well, a Nerd with a Stutter, in order to answer this quickly and not have to make a whole other video, you kind of have two options. You either cut out the clerics and the paladins and all those kinds of divine magics and your players just run with it, or you figure out a way to make it work so that your players can have as much fun as they want to, because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to sit at the same table and play a game. So really it just comes down to how much you want to stick to your original world building and your original plan with your world, and how much you're willing to compromise with your players. But at the end of the day, you're the DM, you make the call. Now, if you were paying Now, if you were paying attention in today's video, leave a timestamp with... Why did my brain just blank there? Now, if you were paying attention in today's video, leave a timestamp with where you saw Tobias in today's video, and you just might get shouted out in the next video. So, there you have it. I hope that this was entertaining or at least enlightening for somebody out there. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Forge on, my friends, and we'll see you next time, adventurers.